Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome to the 36th Tech Talk. And yeah, today we're going to be very diligent, we're going to cover the WordPress installation process step by step. And when I mean step by step, we're going to do it step by step. So, as I kind of pointed out, as we pointed out in the description, you don't have to have almost non-experience. You don't have to have any experience if you want to keep track of this. So we will be very slowish in explaining. Later on, we'll make an edited version of this, so it's a bit faster. But let's take it slow now. So, so we want to build a WordPress site. Cool. What do we need? So we need a computer we can work on. It will have an operating system like Windows or Linux or Mac OS, right? Okay, so very basic. And we need to have another computer available in the cloud, a server that will take on the installation and basically act as a website or a WordPress site. So we will communicate from our computer and we will communicate towards with that server, right? So it seems kind of easy. And I'm sure that after this, you will also share my opinion. All right. But yeah. Um, well, I shared this in the YouTube chat, but I will again share it here. So for those of you that are watching this and are running Windows, please install this. This is putty.org. It's open source, it's free to use. Click on it, download this little program, and run it. You will see that it will ask you for information how to connect to this specific server. It will ask you for information on the username and password and everything that we will provide in this tutorial. We also have been talking about Putty before, right, Caroline? I remember.
Yeah, but that's what I'm thinking about now. Is Putty a form of like command line terminal for Windows, or is it an FTP
It is a
program?
command line terminal. Yes.
Ah,
We will use, great point. Yeah. We
so
will
for
use,
everyone using Mac OS, for instance, or Linux, they can use the command line or the terminal to do the same thing. And
it,
Windows users can use Putty.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So for all the Mac OS users out there, all that you need to do is go into that search bar on your operating system and type in terminal, and you will get this black box opened up. Don't get scared of it. So we will guide
I
you through.
actually,
So
yeah,
yeah,
I actually have we have a YouTube video where I explain like the most common commands in the terminal in case you never used it before, and we can get you a link to that, I guess.
yes, we will comment later on the video. So for those that are not watching this live stream, so they can just click on it. Cool, and we will leave it in the description, whatever. But I'm like very eager to get going. Uh, so the first step is to kind of realize to use a sort of a software, a piece of software on your computer service that will kind of help you communicate with that other computer, the server. So your computer needs to be able to communicate to that server. So we have two machines that are talking to each other. And in order to build that interface needed to communicate is PuTTY or terminal in Mac OS. And it's quite straightforward also in Linux distribution. So if you have any type of desktop distributions like Ubuntu, whatever. There are a million of those out there. Just write in terminal, anywhere in the search bar, it will pop out. You will see it. Yeah, let's get going. So I will share the first page that is quite important. Let me
Are
just.
you using Windows and PuTTY?
I'm using Mac OS.
Okay.
I'll be using Mac OS. I will make sure to leave somewhere in the timestamp or in the description the link to the part of the video where we used PuTTY, because we already did that. So for those that need help setting up PuTTY, because it's not the same, a little bit different. Yeah. Oh, okay.
It's just good. It's always good that what you're doing now, pointing out these are the tools I'm using right now, because I know that I have trouble with that when I follow tutorials. I'm like, okay, but which one are you using then?
Yeah, it's
Because
horrible.
there's so many. Yeah.
Like the worst thing that can happen, that usually happens to me, is when I Google a solution to something and I don't get it. I don't get any answers.
Yeah.
And my reasoning is, am I being so stupid? Or what's going on? And usually the answer is yes. I'm missing the obvious.
It happens
So
to everybody.
it happens. So I like to point out the obvious, and great on pointing that out, Carolina. It's a good point. So we need to be very careful on what kind of operating system we are using. If we are using PuTTY, if we are using Windows, then use PuTTY. There are other alternatives out there, but okay, for these purposes, PuTTY. There are also FTPs, file transferring protocol softwares that can help you use a graphical interface like two windows, and you can just transfer the files from the server and back to the computer, and vice versa. It's quite easy to understand. But for this tutorial, let's start by kind of starting up the server. So at the beginning, we saw that man jumping on these steps, and the very beginning was the icon of DigitalOcean. So it doesn't have to be DigitalOcean. We're not getting paid by DigitalOcean. It's like you can use any service you want.
Point that out. Yeah.
Let's point that out. There are a bunch of services out there. You just type in server into Google, or virtual private server. Hosting is a good keyword also for Google. You will get a lot of services out there. We like to use DigitalOcean. I like to use it because I'm kind of using it for the last decade, and I'm kind of lazy on changing that habit right now. But yeah, let's get to it. So this screen that you're seeing right now is actually this web page. I will share it with you. So I emphasize that this is going to be slow, so don't be mad at me.
It's Friday. We get to take it slow. We're learning new things. It's fine.
Thank you for making those. Thank you for covering for me, Carolina. Yes, it's Friday. Yes, that's the reason. I'm kidding. Yeah, so let's just share that link. It's this is the link that I'm visiting. You can see it in the chat, but let's show it on the screen. So I purposely typed in try.digitalocean.com because this leads you to a sign up form, but you can just type in digitalocean.com, and it will lead you, if you sign on, it will lead you to this page. Of course, you have to provide some sort of a payment service, PayPal, credit card. DigitalOcean is not free. Most of the, not most, I think like all of the services that offer virtual private servers or servers ask you to pay some money. So it's an actual machine running in some sort of a data center. It's just how it is. It kind of takes up power. You have to maintain it. It costs money. Yes. So that's how it is. we have alternatives. Carolina, you mentioned that before, like with.
I know. Also, we had a friend of Elks that came to us, Shane, and he
Mhm.
held a lecture about like how to host your website on the internet, and he went through a couple of different tips and alternatives to servers, web hosting, where you can buy your domain and have a web hotel, like a couple of different things. So we could also link that in case
Yeah,
someone is feeling like, where, how do I decide which server I
yeah,
need? Yeah,
yeah. And like, I don't know if you can tell, but we are all very open for
yeah,
questions. And if you leave a comment, if you're stuck somewhere, if something doesn't make sense, leave a comment. Let us know. We
yeah.
will get back to you.
And if you have any tips for like which server do you use? Which web hotel? Where do you buy your domains? What do you think is the easiest way? Please let us know because we're gonna tip everybody about it. So
Yeah, perhaps we're missing something.
yeah,
Like there's a new trend going on with some servers, and yeah, we're not keeping up.
Ooh, I also
It's
know.
like with TikTok or something, like new
Yeah,
fads, new things. Kids are
I feel so old.
yeah, yeah. No, sure. Okay, let's get to it. So
Yeah.
if you go to digitalocean.com, you sign on. This is the first page that you will see. So you will see first project. That's like the thing that they use to kind of put something up there, and it's like start building your project. Empty, waiting for you to do something. For us to start building a server, we need to go about and click create, click droplets. That's just a fancy word DigitalOcean uses like a substitute word for servers. So don't get scared. It's just a server. So we will create a cloud server as it says below. Should I perhaps zoom in a little bit, Carolina? What do you think?
Yeah,
Like
I know.
just
My site is like not the
okay,
greatest.
okay. Again, you're going in that direction of being old.
I know. I am getting old. I'm
No,
33 next month.
no. I'm I didn't hear that. Completely ignoring you. All right. There are multiple. So there's create droplets and distribution. Distributions looks scary. Rancher OS. What the hell for farmers? I'm just kidding. There's Fedora. There's Debian. There's CentOS, Rocky Linux. Never used it before. I had used
Ooh.
CentOS and Debian, but never used the Rancher OS and Fedora. If somebody did use it, please let us know. I'm not familiar with the differences. I'm so sorry, but today we're going to use Ubuntu because I've kind of gotten used to Ubuntu and a lot of tutorials and a lot of to dos, a lot of community installs WordPress on Ubuntu, perhaps Debian. You will rarely see someone using other distributions. Never explored why. Perhaps it's a thing of dependencies. Don't take my word for it. But okay, for this tutorial, take my word for it. Distributions, we select Ubuntu, and we select not 2022.04, but 2004. Why? Because it says LTS. Well, what does that stand for? It stands for long-term support.
Oh.
So you will have a less of a hassle. You don't have to think about updating the distribution later on. So it's a stable ground for you to build on. Let's put it that way.
Because this version has a long time support.
Yeah, that's a thing. Like with distributions, they give out certain like tags. They say, all right, we'll take care of this support. We will keep it in this form for X years. so things don't get messed up, because innovation and good like upgrades are good. Innovation is good, but if it breaks things, it's not good. So you have to like be very, all right, we want to bring innovation, but we want to bring stability also.
So it's sort of the same thing with when you have PHP or you have Python and they release a new version of it. They're like, okay, this is a new version. We're not sure how, like, what they could affect. So stick with the old one for now, and
Yeah,
then slowly transition to a new version when it's stable.
exactly. So there was an update on the PHP, and
Yep.
a lot of people know that when they updated the PHP and for WordPress, a lot of things broke.
Yep.
But what did break was actually the code itself, because the PHP has updated and changed some standards in the code. And now you have to like go physically in the code and change some brackets, or I don't know, hyphens, something.
Mm.
Like you have to change some things in order for it to work. It's not much, but it breaks your server.
Mm.
Yeah. So choose a plan. We don't have to do so. Before, when we did one-click installation on WordPress, then we are kind of forced by DigitalOcean to use a certain plan. Here, this is a very good thing. This is a plus. We can like reduce it to the most minimal size. So we can put it in the most cheapest category of a server, because realistically, we don't need that much space to install WordPress. So now we're going to go on regular with SSD. And oh, this is a good marketing like Sheem, a little bit sneaky. Like look at this arrow. So this is $6, but if you click this arrow, you get $4. So click on that
Yay.
arrow, kids. It's like regular with SSD, $4 per month. So you get a live server on the internet for $4 a month. So that's cool. We have one CPU core. We can get into a little bit specifics. One CPU, 512 megabytes of RAM, so half a gig of RAM. We get 10 gigs of SSD. So that's more than enough for us to get started, for us to have this simple WordPress site. Also, block storage. Later on, you can upgrade the server when you start building serious things, when you start building more things. You can add more memory. You can upgrade it here also, not a problem. You can click on the distribution, you can click on larger CPUs, etc., etc. We are in Europe, and we will choose Frankfurt. It's the shortest distance for the communication between, as we remember, our PC and our server. So it doesn't have to go across the Atlantic, the signal, every time you communicate with it. Not much, but yeah, it adds up. All right. Authentication. So I have, as you can tell already, DigitalOcean is offering me to use my existing keys. I already talked about this. We will not use a key right now because it adds a layer of complexity on things. Let's not use a key. I will use a password. It will. I have to type in my root password. Okay, I'll use another tab, and this is a pro tip for everyone watching. You have a password generator, so you go to. This is a good thing to do. Password generator. You type it into Google, and there are a lot of services that kind of help you generate a good password. So you go to that site and you copy the password that's being offered to you. You copy it somewhere else within your computer. You can. This is not an important site. You can put it in a notepad. You can write it down. I will use this suggestion and paste it here. And I got all of the check boxes right. So it must be 8 characters long, one uppercase letter, etc., etc., etc. So generated the password, pasted it here, checks all the box, a good password. Not a good thing to use all the time, but it will help you understand that later on. So yeah, let me just save that password somewhere. It will not be a good thing to kind of not know it. All right. Additional options, enable backups. So this is a good thing about DigitalOcean. You can just click enable backups. That means that DigitalOcean will once a week, they will clone everything that you do and put it on the side. So like you don't have to worry about if you mess something up, you just click on the latest clone and it brings back the site as it was before you did some upgrade. So you can be very free in doing some things that you feel could perhaps break the site. So just like be cool about it. It brings another additional price of, what is it? $0.8 per month per droplet. Okay, not a big price, but okay, you just keep that in mind. You have monitoring, so it helps you collect metrics. It helps you see on the dashboard of DigitalOcean how if the CPU is non-stop on 100% and you need to upgrade your server. So it kind of keeps you in the loop without you going into the terminal and searching for those values because you can. But it kind of helps you as a beginner keep track of your server. And if a customer says, "Oh, this is not working right, my site is really loading slowly," you can see, "Oh, okay, I'm constantly at 100% of usage of RAM, of oh, my brain stopped. So what's the
It really
memory?
is Friday.
Yeah, it is Friday. So the memory needed for all the processes to be computed and to be available. Yeah. All right. Just one droplet, and we will host it, and we will call it WordPress tutorial. All right. Add a tag. You can add a tag here. I don't know, client. So some sort of a client, or I don't know, whatever. You can put something that will make you when you have a lot of droplets, a lot of servers, it will be able to make that difference. So yeah, you must use password authentication. Okay, I did do that, didn't I? All right, passwords. All right, and create the download. You selected to use password. You must create a root password to create your droplet. I did do that. What's the problem?
Is it like a button? Do you need to?
I don't know. We'll find out. Oh, DigitalOcean. Why? All right.
This happens a lot though. Like you're
Oh,
trying to show something and it's like, oh.
sorry. It gave me the wrong because I used an underscore in the host name, and it's not. It's not like I don't like that. So we'll do this. But it gave me like the hint. I'm doing something wrong with my password, but it wasn't the case. So no special characters in the host name. Another tip.
Now we learned that.
We learned that, yeah. All right, WordPress tutorial. We are seeing the server being built. What's going on right now? We have given an order to DigitalOcean for them to create a small virtual machine. What that means? It means that obviously we are not going to get a physical computer out of this. This is a big server that creates a small virtual computer within itself, and it allows us to communicate with that computer, because it wouldn't be very feasible, it wouldn't be very business-like for them to put another computer in the data center every time you want to create a simple WordPress site. So this is a strategy they use. They have a big computer, a powerful computer, which they use to slice it up a little bit and to offer it to 100 customers or 1,000 customers. Yeah. Okay.
So you get a slice of the pie, basically.
Yeah. We get a small, so it's kind of isolated. They use all types of methods to kind of isolate it from other computers, and they do a good job. But yeah, it's isolated. It is like we have our own computer from our perspective. So what did we get here? What is this? What can we do right now to access it? So we have this IP address. What is an IP address? So when you type in, I don't know, CNN.com, that is just a name that is actually a lot that leads to an IP address. So there is a computer hidden behind this IP address. This IP address is actually the address like you have for your apartment, your home. This is the address for your computer. So if we were to click copy here, and if we were to kind of paste it in the in our browser, we wouldn't get anything. Why? Because it's just a blank slate. We installed an operating system on it, but that's just it. It doesn't know how to communicate with the World Wide Web. We didn't install all the things that I have listed in the description. We didn't install a web server. We didn't install we didn't install a web server. Let's put it that way. Firstly, because a web server is something that is actually needed to communicate. An Apache service is actually needed to be able to communicate with the outside world. Now it's just a computer that doesn't have anything except its address, and it doesn't have the front door. So it's a house on a street with an address, but with no windows and no doors. It's just a closed up house.
I like that analogy. I was like, it's a house that doesn't have water, it doesn't have electrics, it doesn't have, like, we're gonna set that up, we're gonna fix that. And right
Yes.
now it just has like a street number. It doesn't have like the street address
Yeah.
right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Perhaps even a better analogy would be like it's a parcel, like you
Yeah.
bought a plot of land, and
Yeah.
then you got the address. Like
Yeah.
you don't have to build a
Sure.
house in order
Yeah.
to get an address, right? It's just a plot of land right now.
Yeah,
We can
that's
do a
true.
lot of stuff on it. Like it's
Yeah.
just we have the foundations perhaps laid out in that distribution, but that's just it.
Mhm.
All right, we have the IP address right now. We will connect to it. So this is where putty or terminal comes in. So if you installed it, get ready to fire it up right now. If you were using putty, check out the link below to help yourself to install it and to set it up right. Now what we're going to do is fire up the terminal. First thing that I want to show is before firing up the terminal, you can click on this droplet, this server, and you get a lot of valuable information, including the bandwidth, the CPU usage, what I said before, etc. But the thing that you could also use, which I'm not recommending, but you could, is the option access. So what it does, it actually replaces putty, terminal, and everything else. You can access your server through DigitalOcean by using their terminal. So you click the Launch Droplet Console, as they call it, and all right, I didn't. Okay, sorry. I'll just show it. It's a bit tricky.
It's that sharing thing.
Yeah, it's not sharing because it popped up another window and it's like,
Oh.
oh no. All right, it should go. All right, cool. So another window popped out and ta-da, we get this. So we are already in. We could use this. We could also use this to install everything that we need to install. but it's better practice not to use this. It's better practice for you to use a client. So put a terminal, whatever. So you have more control. You can use your SSH key here. You can, yeah, you have more control than just having another window, depending on the browser. But this is a good tool also to use. So we have, all right, let's use this opportunity. So we have welcome to Ubuntu 20.04 LTS. This is the documentation. This is the support. How many users are logged on? 0. This is your IP address. This is your usage of memory. And that's pretty much it. It gives you kind of an overlook of the situation right now of the site. All right. Now we will turn this off.
I guess I would say it's good practice to learn how to use the tools on your computer. So you get more practice with using either PuTTY on Windows or Terminal on Mac OS or Linux, command line, whatever you use.
Yeah.
It's best practice how to learn how to use that, because it's a lot of like commands that's in your muscle memory that's gonna build up and stuff like that. So
Exactly. And it's going to help you
get used to it.
get used to it. Yeah. And perhaps discover that that's something that you don't want to use. You want to use some sort of a different service, whatever. All right, I have started up the terminal on my Mac OS. I will share the window or the terminal or not. All right. Right, this is it. All right. My terminal for my Mac OS, nothing special. We have the, if we were to start writing here, so what we need to do in order to connect to our server is we need to write SSH. So that's the command, and we need to write to root. And the reason why we are writing root, that's the default username. So that's why it kind of warned me of the root password. So that is the default username Ubuntu will put up and use as a username until you put something else there. It's good practice to remove that, and because a lot of people that have bad intentions know that the default user is root. So that's not a good thing to keep, but let's just forget about this right now and use root. All right. So we use root at, and we copy paste, because who will remember the IP address?
Yeah. Oh, IP address. Yeah.
Yes, we copy paste the IP address. So I will paste it here because, right. So this is the IP address. So SSH root, user root at, wants to connect at this IP address. And we click enter. And then it will ask us, so it's asking us, look, this is the first time you're connecting to this server. Are you sure you want to connect to this server? So we have to write yes and click enter. And it says that it has added this IP address on our host file. So it has let our computer know that it's okay to connect to this IP address. Just like a little security precaution. Password, I will copy paste the password I got from the password generator. Let me paste it here. Press enter. And that's it. We have the same screen as we did when we used the access button on the DigitalOcean, right? So what's up here? If we click anything, it's blank. So we don't have any past history commands. For those of you that don't know, if you click the up arrow on your keyboard, you will be able to see all the commands you have used before. But this is not the case. This is just a fresh server with no commands, with nothing being done on it. It has some typical commands that you can use on this Linux distribution. For example, you can use top And top is actually what you saw on that DigitalOcean page with all of the resources. And it lets you know how much resource is being used by a certain service. So we see that the top service, that like the thing that I just started, is actually using resources also. We have like zero point 0.3 CPU usage, 0.8, 2.2 by the system being used. So it's running itself, but it's using minimal resources to run itself. So that's pretty cool about generally about Linux, and it's very lightweight. All right, so I exited this. You can also write ls. So that will list everything that's in the current folder that you are in. So it says snap. So that's something that's left over from the DigitalOcean building your server from an image. So it uses kind of a, like you would put, it uses a pre-done file. It kind of extracts it and puts it in a on a server. So this is the thing that it's left. You have the remnants of it. Correct me if I'm wrong, someone, but I think that's it.
So basically, they use a template to set your server up, and this is a snapshot of what they set up.
Yes.
Yeah.
So and you get into your home folder. So this is your like home folder, and if you go back in the hierarchy and you list everything, you will see all of these folders, a lot of things here. So you don't have to worry much about this in this part of installation. The thing that you could write down and remember is that everything that when we install the public web server, it will be stored in this folder, and it will have this. So it will be cd www. So we don't see that right now. Why? Because we don't have a web server enabled right now. But it will be in cd_var and in cd www. It will be available. So your WordPress installation will be there in that folder because it puts everything, but we will be handling that. We will do that. So, all right. We have gotten into our server. We can do a lot of things. We can ping. Did I mention cnn.com? Let's try to ping it. Yeah. So we are pinging another machine. Hello, cnn.com. We are live on the web. We can ping. So I don't know if you know this. So you have the Google servers available there. This is the it's called the DNS, but this is the server for Google server DNS. So one part of their network. So if we ping 8888, we get a callback from Google also. Hello. So everything's working. We have a connection to the internet. We have connected to the server. What's up next? So this is the nice part of being an IT person in the 2022 or in this decade, because a lot of people that are just starting to learn are scared and they think that people with 10 plus experience know everything by heart, but we don't.
That's the big secret.
We don't. It's what we do is actually this is very funny. So I will share this tab. I will share this window. This is what we do. We write WordPress Ubuntu install in the Google.
Google things.
Yeah.
Every developer does it, no matter if you've been a developer for 5 minutes or 50 years. Everyone Googles things.
If you've been a developer for 50 years, then you're probably Googling it even more. Especially WordPress things. Yeah. I'm kidding. So it's basically, you want to get, the point behind of this is you want to get the freshest resources. So I have written down WordPress Ubuntu install, but I have the Ubuntu documentation here, which is fine. And I have the how to install WordPress on Ubuntu 18.04, but we don't have 18.04. We have the 20.04, right? So let's go with that. We have someone already built us a tutorial, step-by-step tutorial on how to install WordPress on this Ubuntu. So with the lamp stack. So this is presuming that you already have installed something. So you have the prerequisite here. It says, in order to complete this tutorial, you will need to have access to the server, and you will have to complete these steps before. So it says you have to set up the initial service, and it says non-root sudo user because of the security, but don't worry about that right now. We need to install a lamp stack by following our lamp guide. So this is why we love DigitalOcean so much. So it's like, oh, sure, I can't install WordPress right now, but I will click on this and install it like this then. So I clicked on it and I have to share it again. Oh, I have to get another thing like how to install. Okay, lamp. Oh, it says lamp. Cool. So how to install Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP lamp on Ubuntu 20.04. Yay! Okay.
These are all the things we're going to need in order to run WordPress on our server.
This is the thing that we need to install. So we have the foundation or a plot of land. Now we are building the house. Now we are starting to add the doors and the windows. But with WordPress, we will add furniture.
That's a good analogy.
So it's just a house. It can be like you can sell cars like in the front and have an office in the back in the house. You can have it as a showroom of some sort. You can use it as a family house. So if you install WordPress, I don't know, it's a showroom of some sort. You're selling, I don't know, tiles or something like that, or pillows. I'm running out of ideas here. But again, DigitalOcean being DigitalOcean, they are really being careful about you having these certain prerequisites. So you have the initial setup guide for Ubuntu. Did you follow that? Okay, yes, we did. So it says you need to copy and run every single one of these commands. So let's do that. So we copy this, and let me figure out how can we do this. Okay, I'll do something perhaps a little better. So we show side by side the terminal and this. So we will actually, all right, lamp stack. Let me just. I'm using two computers here. Bear with me.
That's even harder. Sharing screen.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I have to rethink my strategy. Okay.
Perhaps next time we should like mob program so we do it together or something. We can try something like that.
Yeah, we could. Good thinking. All right, we have the. Okay, I will kick this, and this was sharing. All right, and I will share the terminal. Bear with me, guys.
But this isn't a cooking show. Like, yeah. You can't do all the preparations ahead of it.
All right, I have to. Just a sec. Okay, there are 4 of us here. Okay. I'll do this. Okay. Cool. Okay, and then I'll switch it from here to here. Like, I think that's okay. Okay. Anyone has a problem with it? Sorry. All right. I will just zoom on to this a little bit so you can get a better view of it. And yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, too much, too much. Okay. So yeah, let's get to it. So we have sudo apt update, apt update. So let's do that. I'll copy the code here and run it here. So we are running the code. What this will do, it will update all the packages needed for this server to be very, very updated. So Linux is constantly being updated. It constantly has more features being added to it, mostly security wise, because like the internet is a wild place and constantly there are some things and bugs being discovered that could be taken advantage of. You must have heard of those security incidents, but that's the story behind all of this. So what do we have as a next step? This will be
So
fun.
this is
Sorry.
just like making sure our foundation is solid that we're building our house on. We're just
Yes.
like, oh, everything is tip top.
Everything is like we have updated it just to make sure it's on the latest version of. So this is like very straightforward. We have the install Apache 2. So this is the installation process of actually the Apache web server. So it's a way of us bringing those doors and windows to the house. It's a way of us kind of making sure that the person that lands on our server gets to see something,
Mm.
so and gets to have that interaction. Let's put it that way. So we have the let me just see if I can just, okay, I copied it, and let me just put it here. So yeah, let's install it. Let's see. Okay, I have a question. It's asking me, am I sure that I want to allocate some space on my disk drive for this? So I'll click yes. And this is very exciting. Like if you are just starting out, you can have your family and friends sit around you, and you will look like a hacker.
That's what I feel a lot when I talk about code with people that like doesn't know anything. They're like, "Oh my god, what's going on? You're such a hacker," and I am like, "Ah, really?
Yeah, it's not. There's this meme of Life of Brian of Monty Python. It's
Hmm.
like you have the black screen and the terminal and people around you saying, "You're a hacker." No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I've seen you. You're a hacker. You're using black screens and white letters. Okay, so progress is 98%. Something is happening. Hopefully, this will not be the end of our tutorial. All right, possibly something is being installed, etc. All right, while this is being done, we will take a look at it's. Oh, it's done. Okay, let's get to the next step. So the next step is actually setting up the firewall. We will enable the firewall to allow the traffic to come in. So it's like us kind of configuring the alarm on the house. So we will allow certain traffic to come in. So we will allow people that have um, a regular access to come in. I don't know if it's an alarm is a good analogy, but this is something like we will allow Apache, and we will allow all of these other services to be able to communicate to the outside. I don't know what analogy would be a good analogy
Perhaps like
regarding the house.
road pass, a road passing by the house, and like
Oh, yes.
we have like an entrance. We're building an entrance to certain people that can come to our house.
Exactly. Yeah. Good analogy. Yeah, we are opening up to the world, but not a
Yeah,
lot. We are opening up to the world to a certain extent. Yeah. Good. Yeah, makes sense.
it's hard finding good analogies for things.
Yes.
We try.
So we try. We will add now on this list. As you can see, we have the available applications, and we will add Apache here because we trust it. We will add it here and allow it. So rules for the firewall have been updated. Yes, allow the public to enter, but through this service and using some rules. All right. Let's continue on the next step. I told you this is going to last forever. Sorry, guys. All right. This is the status, and we can check if it is allowed. Let's skip this for now. We have also the option of server IP. So we know the server IP here. We got it from DigitalOcean. We don't have to check it. Actually, this is for us to see if it is working. Sorry. So
Have
let's.
have you scrolled up in the document? Because I know you're using two computers, and now we
Oh,
just put at
sorry.
the bottom sudo.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I did
Okay,
not.
I figured.
Okay. Sorry, everyone.
No worries.
So this is the install Apache, and this is the app list that we are using to identify all of the outputs available. And this is what we allowed. We allowed the Apache. Oh, sorry. Let me remove this. We allowed the service to use the firewall freely. And yeah, it can go action. It will allow it to go anywhere. So we have opened up the web server to the world. It comes with its good things and bad things. So right now, as we did that, some automatic programs are searching the web for vulnerabilities and trying to already right now crack our server. So that's the part of being on the wild web. So as it is. So we can check if this Apache web server is working. Is our house actually available? So we will right now come and write this down, the IP address. Our IP address is, again, I'll copy paste it from the DigitalOcean, and I will put it here. Right, I will write it down here because I copied it from my one laptop and tried to paste it on my other laptop. Good thinking. All right, 206 and 181. Click enter. All right, let me just share this with you. Sorry, everyone. That's just how it is.
No stress.
So when we go to, you can visit it yourself right now. If you go to this, I will share it in the chat. If you go to this IP address, so let me just put it in a nicer format. If you go to this IP address right now, click it on the chat. If you go to this IP address, you will see this picture. So what this means is right now we have an interface available for the visitors. So Apache put up this configuration page just in order for us developers to see if it's working, to be completely sure that it is working. So this is kind of a scaffolding around the building right now. We are bringing up the house right now. We have put up the scaffolding around it, and this is like the commercial that you see on those scaffoldings, like the people building it or whatever. So this is it. Like, consider it like this is like that analogy.
I like it.
All right, let's get back to installing LAMP.
Building the house.
We are building the house. All right. Now we have, so LAMP. We built Linux. That was Ubuntu, right? Now we are going to rebuild Apache. So that's the web server. And now we are going on the M part.
So
That's
MySQL.
MySQL. MySQL, yes. There are people saying MySQL and
I know.
MySQL.
I don't know why I say MySQL, but I don't know. I
You
guess
don't have to.
I'm a
It's just
movie person, so sequel to me, it's like, I remember.
it's just you don't have to like. I get some people. Everyone has their own faults, and yeah. Sorry, Carolina, you're saying sequel. Okay, let's get to it. So let me share. So this is the part of the M. So we are installing MySQL here, MySQL. So let's do it. We are copying this code and putting it into the terminal.
Could you say that these are like the inner walls of our house? We're determining where like the living room is and that it is a living room, and then we're gonna place things in the living room. Because
Yes.
MySQL is a database. It's for us to like be order
Yeah.
to store information.
It's yeah. It's hard like to say. You can use an analogy of being of MySQL being sort of a back room in the selling shop,
Mm, mm,
like it's a place where it's sort of a storage
mm,
from which you come back from. You have your front desk,
mm.
like the front end, and then a person comes up and says, I want to buy a cushion, and
Yeah.
then you go back to the storage or the database and you grab a cushion and you come to the front end where everything is very nice, nicely done. And yeah, the UX is very good. So you use that, and basically that communication, you communicating, so you can be like the person communicate with the client could be that code,
Yeah.
but perhaps not. I'm not like, yeah, I could get in trouble with these analogies. All right, let me just paste that, install my SQL MySQL server. It's again asking me, look, this will take some memory, some space. Do you want to install it? Yes. It's installing it again. A nice hacker moment. So again, when we install it, we will get some questions probably. It's installing the server. It's installing the. Again, it's sometimes it's confusing because I'm using the term server a lot, but let's use the term service actually. So it's a service within a server.
Mm.
So it's an unpacking a lot of stuff, installing a lot of stuff, letting you know if there are some errors while doing the whole process. It's triggering some things, a lot of scripts, a lot of things are being triggered right now. You can look at it, take some notes or not. You can look away if it's too scary.
Oh,
All right. Oh, what did we get? Some person returned an error code.
exciting.
Oh, dependency problem. Hmm.
So what does a dependency problem mean? It's something on
It,
our service is reliant on something else and they're not like getting along.
exactly.
Mm.
Exactly. So, yeah. Something is we don't have. Perhaps it's we don't have something that is needed for this to be installed properly.
Oh,
But perhaps let's push on.
yeah.
Ignore this, as we usually do in the IT world. So All right, let's go to the next step. So we have the secure installation. So we will actually secure the database. This is quite important because, again, it's outside, it's in the world, in the wild world of the web, and this is important to do. So let's continue with the next command. Let's paste it. Secure installation. So enter passwords for user root. I will use, which again is not a good idea, but for this it's more than fine. I will use the same password I got when I used for the DigitalOcean creation of the server. So I will use that password. Click enter. All right. It's something is not working, but let's let me do this, perhaps. Let me see if this will help. I will upgrade a little bit the server and try to run the MySQL server again, installation again. Perhaps this was the reason why it didn't work in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So again, this is a manual installation of WordPress site. It is more complicated. You can use the tutorial we did 2 weeks ago on one-click WordPress installation. It will go far more smoothly. But you will be deprived of the learning process. So this is like the whole thing about it.
I think this is like a great way of setting up WordPress if you have done the one-click installation once or like a couple of times, and you're like, okay, I just click a button and I click here and it's done. But what is it that's actually going on? What do I have when I click that button? What do I get? And this is what you're getting. Like you have your web hotel, your server, and then you click a button and then you get WordPress. But here you actually have your server or service or web hotel, and then you get to do each step on your own. And I think it's really great that what you're doing now with the LAMP, that it's like LAMP. Okay, I get why it's called LAMP, because I need all of these things. So
it is helping you understand the whole process. So it's
a great
easier.
learning process.
Yeah. So let's see what went wrong and possibly identify the thing that made it fail.
Great.
It could be that we misjudged and put the RAM on too low, but I don't think that's the case. Also, errors were recounted while processing MySQL server. Okay. We will see. We will try to do this. So look, and I'm pressing the up arrow for everyone wondering. So if I write history here, I will get all of the commands that I used so far. And if I press the up arrow, I also get the listing of it. I don't have to do it again. So I go on the, where is it? Sudo apt install MySQL server, and I click enter. I don't have to copy paste it again. So let's see what it might already. All right, so this is kind of futile, but let's do it again.
I think that's a really good feature of like a terminal, that you get this file with this is what you have done in this session. If you need to do that step again, then you can just up. Oh, okay, yeah, there it is.
Exactly, and what we can do here right now, this is a good thing that it happened. So we can see if we go up here, we just take a look at the things being said here. It says my SQLD will log errors to this place. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah. Or log MySQL error.log.
Yes. So let's take a peek there. So you need to write in CD and write in this, what's it called? Root? No. Path. Okay. Yeah.
This is
All
a
right.
really great way of like learning how to look at what's going on when you get an error code. I always get
Exactly.
like, okay, should I Google it? I
We
always
will
get
Google
like a
it.
bit. You can Google
Yes.
it. You can have a look in the error logs. That's like the
It's
first
scary.
good step because it's
It's
gonna
scary.
explain what's going on.
So I've written down Nano,
Mhm.
Nano. So that's the text editor of Linux. It's called Nano. You have also Vim. I like to use Nano, but it's
I use
all
Wim.
up to you. It's all up to you. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
So let's use Nano. We have a lot of scary things here, but it's always a good thing to go to the lower parts and the most recent parts and see what's going on. Starting process. Nothing unusual here. I don't see any errors coming up. Like it just started a lot of processes. Perhaps I'm wrong,
Might there
but
be something in the error log for Apache?
it could be. So that's a good place to look at. So we write ls and we go to ls. So we have the latest. So when we did this hyphen LTR, so this kind of sorts it by date that it was modified, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, or not. I forgot. Okay, so it's basically we can take a look at syslog, system log. We can write nano syslog and see what's going on here. Oh, right. Okay. Oh, let's go to the 1236 when the issue less. So it's 1236 because it has the UTC time. It doesn't have. So we later on you can change that in order to have. But we got a warning here. Something failed. Main. All right, all right. We got some error messaging that we can work with. Failed start.
You
I don't know
had
if that.
one thing out of memory, killed process, My Sql D.
Starting. All right.
There's a lot happening at 12:36.
So yeah, it says free swap. It's looking for swap memory. That is the virtual RAM. Perhaps it could be that we put the we didn't give it enough of. Oh, it's out of memory.
Yeah.
So we saved up on the money when we started this project, but it cost us, and there's obviously a reason, even though I bashed DigitalOcean, there is a reason. So as we can see, there is a reason for them recommending us using the RAM that is higher. So let's go and let's change that. Let's change that. Let's change that. And we can wrap things up and we can continue on the next point next time. But this was also a good learning experience. But for now, let's just see if this works. It will take us another couple of minutes, and we have all learned something. All right. Let me share this.
Because I mean, these tech talks, they're live, and we basically do what we do without the camera. And these, like, this is what happens sometimes.
Yeah, it's yeah, we can see that we have already have the 50% of the CPU usage.
Let's see what happened to Renee. Renee, you disappeared.
Oh, okay, for some reason I disappeared. So if you click, sorry, if we click resize here, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Sorry. Let me just.
You were sharing the the DigitalOcean page where we could see that it spiked quite a lot. As when we were installing LAMP, LAMP, like it took up a lot of memory at the same time. So there was a lot of things going on the server, which like
Yes.
we didn't have enough space to do that much on the server, and we didn't have enough memory to store everything on the server.
Exactly. And so, something is dying, so I will be short. So if we click, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. So this is the resize droplet option. You can resize the CPU and RAM, and you click on the.
Now you disappeared again. There's a lot of bugs in this TikTok. So if you show us, I can say what you're showing us.
Yeah, for whatever reason, this is like a little bit weird, but okay. So we can click on the. Let's use the premium, $7 a month. We click the basic, and we select the resize. We have to shut it down before, so we need to go to power and turn off the droplets.
So we turn our server off, and then we can make some changes, and then we can turn it back on, and then we will have a larger memory to do things with.
Sorry, again, something failed, but we'll push on. And we click resize. I don't know if that's visible now.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Okay. If we click resize, then we go to, again, to basic premium, or you can use just basic. And we click resize. Let's click resize, and it has the status bar up there, if you can see it.
Yeah, it's loading now.
Yeah, and
so I guess it's like rebuilding the memory. It's giving us more memory on our server right now. Hey.
Hi. So we will try to reinstall the server. So yeah, basically, we're going to give it a go again. So I think it is done now. And yep. let's go ahead and start the terminal again. So let me just. I think I'm sharing too much things, so that's the reason why things are failing here. But let me just shut some of these things down, stop sharing, and I think this will be better now. So, all right, let me share the terminal. We don't have to share this anymore. So let me just share the terminal real quick. All right. Again.
So we're just going to have a peek to see that we have the memory that we need. and then we might like leave it as it is and then take it up again.
Sorry, everyone. We will edit this out. Sorry. So we lost the connection here. We will try to regain it. We will turn it on and try to reconnect.
So what you mean by reconnect? It's basically just log on to your server again with SSH root at the IP address. That's your URL.
All right, so the demo gods are not loving us today. We have really tested them out. So to recap and to kind of go to set it up for the next time, we ran into some troubles installing the MySQL server, and we have upped the RAM right now, and we are going to give it a go next time.
Yeah.
Some
we
things
can
are
just
getting
we can pick it up from where it was working, and then we can just push on through the next time. Sometimes this happens.
Yes, things are slowly dying on our end. I think that my computer wants to go to sleep and wants to have the weekend off, I think.
Update that one as well.
We have to do something, but okay. So we reach the M. We will reach then the P next time, so the in the LAMP, and we will set up WordPress next time. So this is the step-by-step process. This is life. And yeah, hope everyone had a good time by watching us struggle a little bit, but hopefully this kind of led you to a better understanding of the whole process.
Yeah. So thank you all so much for this time. I hope Renee is coming back. We will, just as Renee said, we will pick it up from the M part in LAMP the next time, and we will take it from there and install WordPress.
Yes, and I don't know if you
Let's see if Renee comes back.
Bye, Carolinas. I will run the outro clip and leave because something is falling apart, and let's leave. Bye, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for watching.
Thanks.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.